Human consciousness often operates in a state of constant internal resistance, where every thought and action feels like parts of an engine grinding against each other. This is the heavy, physical sensation of a mind running completely out of sync with its intended design. The Quran labels this state of grinding entropy as shaqqa. While often translated as hardship, the linguistic root points to a system wearing itself down through relentless friction, the internal heat and breakdown caused by operating outside of its hardware specifications. To address this friction, we look to the modular, systemic architecture of the Quranic text. Specific chapters are preceded by alphabetical metadata headers, distinct letter codes that categorize the operational function of the module that follows. By filtering out the broader cosmic data streams in the text, we can isolate this two-letter code, ta-ha. This is a systemic alert, a metadata tag focused specifically on human cognitive distress. The text establishes its premise immediately. The Quran was not sent down to cause you distress. It is presented as a reminder for those wary of the consequences of an uncalibrated life. This chapter functions as a diagnostic protocol. It is engineered to eliminate the friction of shaqqa and restore the user to operational efficiency. Before the human mind can carry out its administrative tasks in the world, it must first internalize this code to initiate a total systemic reset. The narrative of Moses begins at a point of total systemic vulnerability. Lost in the desert at night, his situation is the physical embodiment of a system in distress. He navigates a pitch-black, freezing landscape, moving toward a faint point of light he perceives in the distance. At this moment, Moses is operating on a survival level. He seeks the fire for thermal energy and basic navigational guidance, huda, to help his family survive the darkness. The divine response pivots him away from this physical objective. Instead of mere warmth, the system introduces the full, recalibrating Taha protocol. Faced with the task of confronting an empire, Moses recognizes his internal hardware capacity is the priority. He asks for his chest to be expanded and for his task to be made easy, a request for the removal of internal friction. Survival is found in the expansion of internal cognitive bandwidth. Only by reaching a state of internal equilibrium can a leader handle the resistance of reality without collapsing. We decompile this protocol through its linguistic roots. The letter ta is the anchor for tayyib, meaning wholesome and sustainable, and tahara, meaning purity or integrity. As this geometric foundation assembles, we see ta represents structural stability, a system operating optimally, free from the transgression that causes internal heat. The second letter, ha, is the root of huda, the vector that provides navigation. It is the signal that allows an exhausted agent to realign with their intended universal blueprint. When these lock together, they form the ta-ha protocol, the achievement of wholesome equilibrium through divine direction. This combination serves as a manual for internal system expansion. It acts as the operational remedy for the soul's involuntary exertion and entropy. Structural stability and clear direction form the equation that allows a human system to sustain its intended purpose. This logic is tested against Pharaoh, a transgressor who has corrupted social equilibrium through tyranny. He represents the systemic opposite of the Taha protocol. The narrative proves a core principle. An agent cannot recalibrate a broken society if their own internal system is suffering from severe friction. The chapter concludes by showing the consequence of turning away from this calibrating reminder. This is Danka, a constricted life. On the right, we see a narrow system operating under such high friction that it eventually shatters. This is the structural opposite of the expanded chest Moses requested. The divine law prioritizes the mental and operational well-being of the human agent as the absolute prerequisite for any external success. Taha is the blueprint for human elevation. It demonstrates that sovereign leadership in the world is only possible when the architecture of the mind is first expanded, calibrated, and at peace.